Hi, I'm Stu 3D, and in today's episode of Gobbin Off About Tech, we're going to be talking about the recent announcement of the Xbox One X, and what that means, or what I believe that means for a low spec, or a moderate spec PC gamer such as myself. So, for those of you who watch my channel on a regular basis, you'll be aware that I use a 2017 HP Omen with a 2GB GTX 1050 and a Intel Core i5. Now, that is technically this year's low spec base model hardware, and basically, but in terms of PC gaming at the moment, it's what would be considered sort of mid spec. It's not the best, it's not the worst. So obviously E3's been going on, and there's been some cool announcements, and one of those is the Xbox One X. Now, obviously, it promises to do true 4K and all of that, but what has impressed me the most about the Xbox One X is Microsoft has taken the same line as what Sony have done, and have basically said, right, yes, you've got all this extra power, but basically you can only use it as basically a quality slider. So in other words, you can only use the Xbox One X's power to make existing games look nicer. There's not going to be any exclusive games for the Xbox One X over the standard Xbox One. And it's obviously the same with the PS4 Pro over the base model PS4. Now, for me, as a moderate spec PC gamer, it fills me with a lot of hope, because pretty much every game that I play, AAA, the AAA console ports, the ones that are on Xbox One, PS4, and PC. And this laptop plays pretty much all of them absolutely perfect, with actually pretty decent detail settings, So I'm quite, with the fact that the Xbox One X has basically turned around and said, right, you cannot make games exclusive for the One X. As I said, for me, it fills me with hope that the hardware in my laptop is going to be relevant for PC gaming for quite some time to come. And obviously, the reason is obviously for the games I play, they're going to be having to make the lower quality textures for the existing Xbox One and PS4. Now, obviously, they work absolutely fine on this laptop, so it fills me with hope. Like, they've just shown out Assassin's Creed Origins. Now, for me, what that means is, okay, they've shown Assassin's Creed Origins running on an Xbox One X. But obviously, it's going to run on the standard Xbox One, which for me shows me that actually, because this laptop can run Assassin's Creed Syndicate quite well, the system requirements for Origins shouldn't be that much greater. So in other words, if this laptop can run Syndicate, then Origins shouldn't be an issue, because they're both Xbox One, PS4 era games. So, and I was discussing this with Scazius the other day, and actually, he said, yeah, that should hold true for the majority of games. Obviously, however, there are going to be some PC games that obviously come out, PC exclusives, which are going to need beefier hardware sooner rather than later. But if you look through my collection, pretty much every game I play is a multi-platform game. And obviously, with the Switch also being lower powered, and they're also making games for that as well, as I said, it fills me with the confidence that, okay, as I said, it's a moderate spec laptop that I have at the moment, but it does fill me with confidence that unless the PC ports are dreadfully bad, Nier Automata, I'm looking at you, I've heard that is really bad, but it's actually taken a geek in his bedroom to create a patch that Platinum couldn't be bothered to make. But yeah, it should mean that any games that are due to come out, any of the big AAAs should run as well on this laptop as the ones currently out at the moment. Because obviously, for the AAAs, they make it down to the lowest common denominator. And obviously, if you've got the Xbox One and PS4 still having to be catered for, then yeah, as I said, it just means for me, it fills me with hope that actually, this laptop's going to be good for the 3-year mark, which I was aiming for anyway. The other good thing as well is it also would indicate to me that there's not going to be a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox 2 or whatever it's going to be called anytime soon, because it's going to be very unlikely that they release new hardware only to completely supersede it within 1, maybe 2 years. For me, it looks like the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro are going to be it now for at least 2 to 3 years. And obviously, 2 to 3 years, well, I say 3, that's going to be pushing it, maybe at least 2 years. The PS4 Pro and the Xbox One, before we're going to be looking at maybe a PS5 and an Xbox, whatever it's going to be called, which also then lends. Which also then, as I said, lends itself well to the theory that actually the ports should, as I said, as they've been told, unless Microsoft or Sony completely change their stance, next year saying, okay, you can drop the original PS4 and Xbox One and literally just create it for PS4 Pro. But if they did that, they would piss off too many customers, I believe. So yeah, as I said, I think the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X are actually really good news for PC gamers, to be honest with you, especially PC gamers who don't have a crap ton of money just to keep throwing away on new hardware when it starts to feel, you got these hardcore PC gamers, the ones who troll all the YouTube comments, ooh, PC gaming master race for the win, oh, I can run my games at like 8K, 100 frames a second, you're never going to please them, but, at the end of the day, with with the Xbox One X and the PS4, for me, as a moderate spec PC gamer, it does fill me with hope that actually the hardware that I'm running at the moment is still going to be relevant in 2-3 years' time, maybe even longer. As I said, it all depends on how long it is before they turn around and announce the PS5 and Xbox 2 or whatever it's going to be called. But to be honest with you, as I said, if they've just released the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, I don't think we're likely to see a totally new console generation for at least 2, maybe 3 years, potentially even longer. But I think after 3 years, they're going to be pushing it with the with Xbox One and PS4 standard editions. I think, they would be pushing it. So I think we're going to be looking at maybe a new console generation in 2 to 3 years' time. But as I said, because of the rule that Microsoft and Sony have enforced, saying, right, basically you have to support the older, lower spec consoles. As I said, as a medium spec PC gamer, which can currently run all the titles that are out on the PS4 and Xbox One anyway, it does fill me with the confidence that actually this laptop is going to be good for a good few years to come. So I said 2 to 3 years would be a realistic expectation out of this laptop. Potentially, we could be looking at longer. The only way that it won't be is, as I said, if the developers get completely lazy when it comes to PC ports. But as me and Skaz discussed before, generally they build the games for the lowest spec hardware, which is going to run it, which in this case will be the the Xbox One and the PS4, the standard Xbox One and PS4. So yeah, whilst you've got the Xbox One X for your 4K gaming, to be honest with you, 4K really doesn't make a huge amount of difference unless you're sitting right on top of it. I mean, I've watched 4K movies and 1080p movies on my 4K TV, and at the distance I sit away from it, it's just a waste of bandwidth downloading the extra detail. For me, it's the HDR what makes the big difference. So yeah. So yeah, but as I said, it's nice to know that for the people who favour graphics and everything over anything, you have got the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro for that reason. And it's nice to know that for everyone else, the Xbox One Standard Edition and the standard PS4 is still available, still going to go strong. And then, as I said, for the PC gamers, for me, it looks like I'm going to be able to keep AAA gaming on this laptop for a while, I'll be honest with you, which is all good news. The other things I've taken away from E3, I've not really watched any of the live streams. I've just literally, I just sort of pick it up on Twitter or whatever. It is Assassin's Creed Origins. Looks like more of the same. I'll probably pick it up. Probably won't pay 40 quid for it. I'll probably wait until it goes down in price. So, but yeah, nice to know that, as I said, this laptop can run Syndicate quite well. As I said, I'm going to probably get more RAM for this laptop because Syndicate does struggle if I try to stream it. But it turns out it looks like it's more a RAM issue because it sort of hesitates for a little bit and then the textures sort of load around it. So yeah, I think once I get some more RAM for this laptop, I think I'm looking really good with it, to be honest with you. So yeah. So it's only a short podcast this time because, as I said, I didn't really watch much of E3. I'm not as big I'm a casual gamer. I'm not sort of the big ones to follow all of the announcements, to be honest with you. I've heard Bethesda's one kind of sucked, and yeah, that's about it. So yeah, as I said, it's a shorter episode of the podcast this time. Just my views on the Xbox One X. Obviously, if you disagree with what I think, and that you think that the laptop I've got or the lower spec hardware is going to be obsolete sooner rather than later, then obviously let us know in the comments below. But yeah, for me, the Xbox One X just shows that gaming sort of hit a plateau now. They can keep throwing hard power after it, but I think in terms of graphics now, PS4 doesn't look terrible, and if this laptop will continue to run games at minimum of PS4 or Xbox One level, not the Pro level, just standard PS4 and Xbox One, I'm happy with that, to be honest with you. And as I said, for me, Xbox One X and PS4 Pro, with the rule that the games have to support the older hardware. For me, as I said, it makes me think that I actually got into the PC gaming at just about the right time, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you on the next one.